We have real estate, we have gold investing, we have alternative investments, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But these calls and what I'm doing here is showing people and helping people establish a better business. I truly, truly, truly believe that most people do not have a real estate problem. You can learn how to do a deal in a day. You can learn technically how to market in a day. You can learn this, you can learn that. People don't have niche problems. How do I start an e-com brand? How do I start a clothing company? Whatever your business might be, that is not the problem. Problem that most people have is that this is their first experience with being a business owner. This is the first time that they've ever actually stepped out of what is comfortable and what is normal to pursue something different. And if you're new to that, and if you've never done that before, it can be a really, really interesting experience. So it's not a real estate thing or a niche thing that I'm talking about on these calls. It's going to be, how do we create a business? How do we build it? How do we scale it? When do we scale it? What team members do we need? What are the tools? What are the resources? What are the connections? It's going to be all of that. Immediately, it's important. It's powerful. Does that make sense? So make sure you have it done. So my topic today, what I'm going to jam on just for a little bit. At the end of our days, when we, not to sound morbid, but when we're on our deathbed, I think we're going to look back and realize how simple all of this really was. I think we're going to look back and be like, oh my gosh, that was really simple. And it's simple because success leaves a breadcrumb trail, and it leaves clues. And if you just follow those patterns, and if you just follow those clues in that bread trail, you can duplicate someone's success very easily. I'm going to use Rob St. John because I think it'd be really weird if I used myself as an example. Let's say that you are here and you believe Rob St. John is a successful business person. He is, by the way. Rob leaves clues all of the time. Rob, it's like a treasure hunt almost, but it's a very, very, very obvious and a very simple treasure hunt. Rob leaves clues. What he talks about, what he's discussing, the language that he uses, the mindset that he has. He happens to teach on Tuesday nights in Axiom. If you guys don't know what Axiom is, let me know. He's going to be going live. He's sharing his experiences. He's answering questions. It's not difficult to figure out how and why and what has made Rob successful. So if you're here and you're like, my goodness, it's so difficult to figure it out, just duplicate what he's doing. And then sometimes even more importantly, what is he doing? It's always amazing to me when I follow entrepreneurs and when I really, really, really am conscious about this. What they're doing and then what they're not doing is often really shocking. So I want to give you an example. By listening to your language, by listening to what you talk about, I can typically determine your level of success pretty quickly. I don't say that to be arrogant. I don't say that to make it sound like I'm some wizard, but success leaves clues. Languaging and how you talk is very important. We were at my 2.5-year-old goes to swim class. Been doing it for almost 2 years. This last Saturday was his first time swimming without mom or dad in the pool. He's now with the teacher. It was heartbreaking. It was heart-wrenching. So I'm now in the crowd. I'm with all of the other parents. And I took a second just to be conscious of what everyone was talking about. And it drives my wife crazy. But I do that because I like to understand who I believe would be successful or not successful. And guys, I know this might make me sound like a dick or a jerk or whatever, but I can normally figure it out pretty quickly. One gal was talking about how it's not fair that so-and-so got paid $1 more than she did. She was talking about how she'd been there for years and years and years, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. She introduced some rumors about this other girl that probably weren't true, etc. As an example, there was another guy that took a phone call. His wife loved that during swim class. Took a phone call and I listened to what the phone call was about. It's just about clues and it's about duplication. My journey, my success story is very simple. I share it all of the time. Guys, you could jump in and duplicate that. What did Jordan's first month look like? I'll tell you if you ask me. What did his first deal look like? I talk about that all the time. How and why did he transition from this to that? I talk about it all the time. There's videos on it. There's training on it. You could just jump in and duplicate that. Now, here's the caveat. I want to make this very specific. I'm different than you, and you're different than me, and Rob's different than both of us. Okay, so it's not going to always be apples for apples, but there are clues. There is a breadcrumb trail. Is this making sense? I think a lot of times we overcomplicate it and we look at all of the puzzle pieces. Okay. So imagine that you open a new puzzle, you dump out all of the pieces on the table, and it can be a little bit overwhelming, and it can be a little bit, my gosh, you look at the picture on the box, and then you look at the mess on the table, and then back at the box, then you look at the mess at the table, and you say, oh my gosh, this is overwhelming, and this is really confusing. But I want you to imagine that somebody sitting right next to you has done this puzzle before, and they say, hey, we're going to start, Jordan, we're just going to start, and we're going to find all 4 corner pieces. And they show me where they are. Here's one, here's one, here's one. Got it. Now what? Unless you're a sociopath, you would probably start with the border, right? And they say, hey, this is how we're going to do it. Now, even though there's all of these different pieces and it looks like chaotic, now we can just jump in and be like, all right, cool. They picked up a piece, I picked up a piece. They place it here, I place it here. We don't need to make it more complicated than that. Most of these businesses and most of these business models that are out there, they're very plain Jane. I'm going to start introducing some other stuff, and I'm going to start hosting some, could be called Jordan and Friends. I'm going to bring in one of my buddies that built up a food truck business, quit his job, started a food truck. I'm going to bring in some guys that do different niches, and one guy that flips watches, and one guy that does this, one guy that does that. And you guys are going to hear their stories, and you're going to realize how simple it really was. Is this making sense? Always the border, never the inside. See, Helena's not a sociopath. You Australians, I don't know, sometimes you guys do things a little bit different. So I don't know about you guys. You can call it a roadmap, you can call it a GPS, but what is it called? All access pass is a GPS. It's a roadmap. Fear and overwhelming. Don't believe those lies. Anything is possible. It really is. Especially, what do they call it? Is it a Sherpa that is like the guide to the top of the mountain? You want to know why everyone hires a Sherpa? Because they've done it before. Because they know that you really should never go this way. You should always go this way. And they know what you're supposed to pack for the journey. And they know what tools you need. And when crap hits the fan, they know exactly what to do. And when you need to hunker down and when you need to hurry up, they're going to tell you to hurry up. I think it's called a Sherpa, yeah? It's not difficult. It's not overwhelming if you have a Sherpa. And that's really what the Kingdom Center is designed to be.